So this weekend, Matt and I got to go see the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle film. It was very good, and let's just dive into it. If you're new around here, hello, my name's Connor. I host a weekly podcast along with my friend Matt, who is obviously not here today. It's posts on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. every week, so hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notified, and you can join. We'd like to talk about anime, manga, comics, etc. Any nerdy topic, really. But let's dive into the movie. So, movie. First off, let's get a couple crazy things out of the way. The movie made 70 million over the weekend in the West, breaking records for animated films. Reportedly, the film was produced on a $20 million budget, and it has cracked 500 million worldwide, which is absolutely insane. And we got Chainsaw Man. I don't think Chainsaw Man will do as good, but it also looks incredible, and I think we're about to enter an era of some pretty insane anime films. Shout out to Ufotable. They could have definitely just cashed in after the hype from season one. Could have just really put it on cruise control and give really passable content for the remainder of the series from season two onwards, really. But they didn't. They always put in their best, and that showed right to the end, really. It goes without saying that the animation was absolutely stellar. I really enjoyed the blending of CGI with the 2D animation, as well as the 3D camera work to follow both the characters in their action sequences, but also the movements of the castle. I thought everything was stellar, really great vision by the director and the rest of the staff in putting the film together. I can't say I was surprised, but the music was also absolutely spot on. It really got you hyped during all of the hype moments, and they really cut it during the scenes that had a little bit more drama to them, whether it was a much slower paced song or honestly no music at all, and it really had a large impact just due to how hype all the music was during the fight scenes. I feel like that abrupt stop when we entered a more dramatic moment or a flashback, it had an impact. Now, with that said, there's obviously some divide when it comes to this film, and that is mostly surrounded around the flashbacks, the backstories, kind of breaking up the flow of the film, if you will. And I kind of have a little bit of a more middle path when it comes to this. I think that you can't just have nonstop action. There has to be things to slow it down, bring you back down. But we'll get into it. When it comes to Demon Slayer as a whole, Matt and I have been critical of perhaps the story and some of the repetitive moments within the story, that mostly being the flashbacks. Now, simple does not necessarily mean bad. I don't want to come off as a simple story can't be good, but continually repeating the same thing does have a little bit of a negative towards the overall feeling of the entire story. So looking from it from that perspective, where the entire Demon Slayer story is fighting demon on like death's door, get sad, soppy backstory, feel bad for demon has to die anyway because demon, rinse, repeat. We get that a ton throughout the entire series, which is not my favorite, but maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Let me know. Now, as for just the film, I think that the first two big flashbacks we get, and that's with the Shinobu fight and the Zenitsu fight, I think they had the right impact where we were kind of going up on a high and it kind of levels out a bit, slows things down a bit, and then continue the high, slow down a bit, kind of breaks up that action. It was well used. I do find that the final flashback, however, with Tanjiro versus Akaza, I found that it was a little bit on the longer feeling side. Now, that could be because I have read the manga, and for me, I flew through that backstory. Not that I didn't read it, but just it went by way quicker. It could also be I'm so used to, or it's so ingrained in my mind when I see a flashback that it lasts 2 episodes, maybe 3, and that's over week by week. So it doesn't feel as long. You're just like, oh, okay, that was 3 episodes. And 3 episodes, that's not a short amount of time. That's an hour long. And it's only what, 30 minutes in this film, but it did feel like it dragged on a bit. I don't know if that's just cuz it was slow or just because of how high we were coming off. It just did not feel the best for me personally. I know that some people they liked it. Like I said, you'll have to let me know if why you enjoyed it or why I'm wrong. That being said, for me, I think some ways that this could have been fixed overall. This isn't for the film, but in general, I think something like Akaza's story would have been cool to see. Maybe we get a foreshadowing of it. Perhaps Tanjiro earlier in the story is in his home village. He hears this story of a fighter who was a criminal, redemption story, but then rival dojo kills the head of the dojo and his daughter, and so forth, so forth. We get the entire backstory. I think if we kind of got that prior to knowing he was a demon, and then that story of that character gets referenced maybe a couple more times throughout the story, and then it's revealed that he is one of the upper demons, I think that would have had a much bigger impact, kind of almost not to the level of Darth Vader, but that kind of like, oh, I kind of feel betrayed. Like we were rooting for this person, and then he's revealed to be a demon. At least for me, that's what I think could have been a different way, and it would have broken up that more regular story style we kept getting with the flashback at the death's door kind of thing, which is still at the end of the day what it was. For me, just I find it very, very difficult to care about these backstories when we already know they're a demon. We know they're a higher ranked demon. So they have killed thousands of people, of humans. Why should we feel any sorrow for them? Like, yes, okay, that's sad. The people in your life that you hear about died, but did you handle it the right way? No. For me, I just can't be bothered to care about the backstory. So maybe that's also why it felt a little bit longer for me. But overall, I would say the film was very solid. Animation, fantastic. Like I said, this film showed that any anime you see where 3D animation is just cheeks, the CGI is just absolute eyesore cheeks. There's no excuse for it because this showed how well CGI can be used, can be blended with the 2D animation, as well as obviously the 3D camera work to help emphasize the action and really feel like you're there, like you're really following everything. There's just no excuse when it comes to how bad the 3D CGI animation is, because we have examples of how absolutely bonkers it can be. Music was Chef Kiss, like I mentioned before. I'm really excited to see what Ufotable brings for the final two films. It's going to be very difficult to match the same level of hype and action as this, but maybe they will. Who knows? I'm excited to see what they'll bring to the table. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the film. Are you excited for the final two? Were you as kind of on the ending as I was when it came to the flashbacks? And tune in tomorrow as our regular Nerdy Misfit podcast will be released at 9 a.m. So see you guys then.